So it all started 2 years ago. Room to Read contacted all our schools about a wine gala tasting event, which was going to be sponsoring this event called this organization called Room to Read. So they were looking for volunteers, and we were all looking for service hours, so that it worked out pretty well. We all decided to kind of go, but we didn't really know each other back then. And so what happened was we all found that we were being placed at the same place, which was greeting all the guests. And so from there we just started talking, and after John Wood gave a speech, we were all really inspired. And so we went away. We stayed in touch over Facebook and over MSN and all stuff like that. But we didn't really give it a second thought back then. But then
Then afterwards, maybe 6 months after the actual event, we had our second thoughts when we had just different experiences that really touched us. For example, I went to Cambodia, and it was an orphanage, and I just felt really bad for the kids. And it's one to hear about it, but then it's a whole different other thing when you have a personal connection with it. So that was my encouragement to do this.
Well, for me, I was trekking through Nepal, and I saw just the poverty that was there. And it was really distressing how a lot of the parents, they were Sherpas, people who carried bags up the mountains for people, and they got paid $1 a day or something like that. And although these parents could save a lot of money and try and give their children a better life, their lives were probably going to be the same because they didn't have access to a good education, and they're going to be stuck on that mountain. So I thought, this is something I could actually change back in Hong Kong. Why don't I do something about this?
So for me, I read John Wood's book, Leaving Microsoft to Change the World. And I could relate to his experiences in Nepal because I'd been there, and I'd also been to Mongolia. So I'd seen all the poverty and stuff, and I really wanted to help make a difference.
Back then, my school in geography were actually having a unit about education, focusing especially on female education, which is one of the focal points of Room to Read. And I found it really interesting how my teacher said that education is the gateway to solving all the global issues in the world, from poverty all the way to overfishing and all these other things. So for me, coupled with that, I also read the book, which really inspired me as well.
So basically, we got together through Facebook after these experiences, and we decided to create a charity. So being musical students, we decided to name the charity Instruments of Hope. We got registered by the government, we created our own bank account, and it's actually a legally registered charity. After a while, we decided we didn't want to be limited by music, so we split out into a student ambassador.
Unlike the other 3 student ambassadors, my school wouldn't officially support Room to Read. So instead, I gathered people who needed community service hours, mostly students from my school or other international schools, and supplied our services to organizations in exchange for charitable donations towards Room to Read. One charitable event that I've made was the Halloween dance, or a Halloween party, and it went spectacular. We only raised around $5,300, but it felt really good when we gave it to Room to Read because every dollar counts.
So to raise this money, I created a battle of the bands. I invited the world's youngest professional guitarist, Yuto Miyazawa from Japan. He was a great guitarist. He's followed Ozzy Osbourne at Ozfest. So to raise this money, I created a battle of the bands at Island School. To do this, I got the world's youngest professional guitarist, Yuto Miyazawa, to fly in from Japan to play for the event. He's a great guitarist. He played at Ozfest. He'd been on Ellen. He was just astounding. So basically, using this and a cast of 3 star-studded judges, I went to various different companies and raised enough money via sponsorship to support our cause. So examples of these companies are AIA, Kim Robinson Plus here in Hong Kong, the Zishan Foundation, and eventually the whole event raised $45,000. This money has now been used to create 1 school in Sri Lanka and 3 small libraries.
So, unlike in Mark's school, we're really lucky in CIS that we're allowed to create student initiative charities. So we actually have an official Room to Read student ambassador branch in our school.
So after going through the process of officializing the charity in our school, we recruited around 30 members of our community who are extremely passionate about the cause. So in our school, we encourage students with really innovative ideas to step forward and lead projects. And how it works is that we have a lot of other students, like 30 of them. So we have a really mobile student human resources branch, and students can choose to help as many projects as they want at a time. In this way, we can have a number of projects running simultaneously.
Yeah, so right now we have 3 projects that are going to happen really soon. The first one is a silly band sale, which is going to happen at our school fair next week. The second one is a talk that is going to be given by John Wood at our school for students, for teachers, and for parents. And our third project is going to be one that's happening later on this year. It's going to be a gaming tournament, which is going to be open to all students. Our aims as a whole organization is not only to raise money for a good cause, it's also to develop skills in our student ambassadors, such as leadership skills, entrepreneurship skills, as well as teamwork skills. We also aim to build a network between fundraising schools in Hong Kong and hopefully in the future around the rest of the world.